Your wife's resentment might be about this, and it's probably not what you think. If things feel tense, distant, or like nothing you do is ever enough, there's something deeper driving it. And for us, there was a progression that almost cost us everything. But what actually pulled us back together in the end was surprisingly simple. We'll show you exactly what that process looked like. And if you're new here, I'm Ryan. I'm on the autistic spectrum, and we've been married for 23 years.
And I'm Lori, Ryan's wife. I have ADHD. What we share comes from our own experiences. We've had to learn the hard way, and this is what actually helped us.
So we're not therapists or counselors. We're just sharing what we've learned. And one quick thing before we get into this, if you're feeling that distance or disconnection in your relationship, we put together a simple check-in that you can use tonight to start rebuilding that connection.
It's really practical, really simple, and the material made a big difference for us.
You can go grab that in the description below.
The first way resentment builds is about feeling like you aren't being recognized for all you do, like you're invisible. It wasn't the amount of household tasks or the family duties. I was never upset about doing those things. I knew I needed to get them done. I was doing all of it and feeling like none of it was really noticed or appreciated. Does it feel like everything is on your autistic partner's terms? His schedule, his priorities, his way of doing things? If so, after a while, it starts to feel like you're not a partner. You're just keeping things running.
And I honestly thought that I was doing the right things. I was working, I was fixing things, I was improving the house, and was trying to build a better life for us. What I didn't see was that none of that really mattered to Lori if she didn't feel seen in what she was doing.
You can be doing a lot and still feel invisible. And when that keeps happening, you don't just feel unappreciated, you start to feel used.
Hearing that later was hard. Not because I was trying to use her, but that's how it felt to her.
The resentment starts building when feeling unappreciated or ignored. If this is hitting you, it doesn't mean your relationship is broken. It means something important hasn't been getting through.
And when that feeling of being invisible continues, it starts turning into disconnection. This is how things started falling apart for us. I was focused on projects, fixing the house, trying to stay on top of everything. I even protected date nights. I thought that covered what she needed. But day to day, I wasn't really there. I would work all evening, then sit down with Lori late at night when we were both exhausted and think, okay, this is our time. Looking back, that was the worst time to try to connect. I thought I was checking off all the boxes like I was supposed to, but
it felt like I was leftovers, just scheduled in. Like I was getting whatever was left after everything else. And for me, connection doesn't work like that. If it's not happening in the moment, it fades. So over time, I just started feeling alone, even though we were in the same house.
and I didn't understand that at all.
But that loneliness turns into resentment.
And that loneliness kept growing for us.
And once that disconnection sets in, this is what started happening next for me. This feeling of being invisible and a lack of connection slowly led to what I can only describe as quiet quitting. Let me explain. I knew quality time was important for me, and I tried to be involved in what Ryan was doing. But as I tried to spend time with him, helping him in his tasks, I began to feel or notice that if I didn't do it his way, he would redo it, explain why I was doing it wrong, or tell me to just let him do it. So eventually I stopped trying, not just with projects, but with us. I had to learn that it was okay to be direct. It was okay to say no. It was okay to ask for some things to be my way too, not just the way his brain needed them. When your voice doesn't matter, you stop using it. And when you stop using it, you start pulling back.
I didn't see that happening. From my side, I thought I was just taking care of what I had to be taken care of the best way I knew how. But what I was actually doing was pushing her out.
And that's when that emotional shell starts forming. You're still there, but you're not really there anymore.
And once that happens, it's a lot harder to fix. And if you're in that place right now where you feel you've already pulled back a bit, that check-in we mentioned earlier is a really good starting place.
It gives you something simple you can actually do together instead of just staying stuck in that distance.
And it's in the description below if you want it.
And if nothing changes, eventually everything comes to the surface like this.
Things were tense. We were disconnected, and I still thought I was doing everything I was supposed to be doing.
And from the outside, it probably looked like that. But inside, I was exhausted and done pretending that it was okay. There was one week when Ryan had planned a grand romantic getaway, just the two of us. It was supposed to be great, but I just broke. I told him I didn't feel connected. I didn't feel loved in the way I needed.
And I remember sitting there realizing I didn't understand how we got here.
And a big gesture wasn't going to fix what had been missing for years.
That was the moment I finally understood how serious it had become. Instead of defending myself, I asked her what I needed to do better. I listened, I took notes.
And that mattered more to me than anything, because for the first time, I felt like he was trying to understand me, not correct me. Far sooner than he understood, I realized that I had to face something too. I remember the first time we tried marriage counseling. I asked to go because I was stressed and anxious, and I saw the direction, and I didn't like it. It didn't really work because Ryan didn't see anything wrong yet. We liked each other. We had a system. We were fine. I realized the power of patience with this. I couldn't keep pouring everything into a relationship while losing myself in the process. I also realized I couldn't rely or wait for him to make me happy. I am the one accountable for my wellness and happiness. I started focusing on getting grounded again, getting closer to God, and taking care of my own healing regardless of where Ryan's understanding of these matters was. I didn't want to think about divorce, and I never said it out loud, but I knew that if nothing changed, I would still be okay.
It wasn't until years later that I recognized that we were really only existing as roommates. That made it real for me. Now we could be ready to heal things together.
And I want to be clear about something. Ryan wasn't a bad husband. He wasn't abusive or intentionally neglectful. He always tried to improve. Understanding how his brain worked helped me make sense of things and allowed me to have the necessary grace and patience. But it couldn't excuse harmful patterns. I felt safe enough to call him out on things when I saw it. And what didn't help at all was name calling, blaming, or labeling. What did help was having people I could talk to who would listen and not judge. If you are in a relationship that makes you feel unsafe, please talk to a professional counselor.
This recognition of mine was where things started to turn around. What surprised me was how small the changes actually were that I had to make. I didn't stop doing projects. I didn't stop needing time for myself, but I started checking in with her during the day. I started including her in what I was doing instead of shutting her out. And I made a conscious decision that she comes before the projects.
And that shift showed up in ways that actually mattered to me. I felt remembered during the day. I felt included instead of pushed aside, and I felt cared for again.
It wasn't about doing more. It was about doing the right things at the right time.
And those small changes rebuild the connection we had lost.
We still have our routines. I still work on things, but now we're actually connected in it. So now I want to ask you, what do you think your partner needs more of right now that they're not getting? And be honest with yourself when you answer that. Drop it in the comments below. We read every one. It helps us to know what to talk about next. If there's resentments in your relationship, it doesn't mean it's over.
It usually means you've been missing each other in the ways that matter.
And when you start showing up differently in those small moments, things can change faster than you expect. And if you want a really simple way to start doing that tonight, go grab that check-in we mentioned earlier.
It walks you through exactly how to reconnect without it feeling focused or awkward.
Now that you know what's actually building resentment, you might be wondering, okay, but what does this actually look like day to day in a neurodivergent marriage?
Like, how does communication, connection, conflict, and even alone time actually play out when ADHD or autism is part of the relationship?
It all starts by watching this next video right here, because when you take what you just learned with what's in this video, it becomes a lot easier to understand each other instead of assuming the worst.
Thanks for watching, and remember, even neurodivergent couples can make relationships work. Right?